What is up, everybody? Piscean here, bringing you my Piscean's personal finance. Is what we'll call this video, because as you can see on the screen, I have collected or crafted a collective of astrology personal finance modules. All right, that's the first part of this video, and the second part. Is going to be on tab 12. We're going to go over an Astro-Financial forensic analysis and show you what it would look like if you decided to purchase a consultation with me, and it's specifically about your personal finance and your career. So, before we get started, please subscribe, like, comment, share if you dare and care, because the algorithm is fucked up. And I love and appreciate you. So, going back to the beginning of this video. Oops. So, what we'll do here is just go over our main goal of this video in this first half. So, these modules, oops, that is way too big. Sorry about that size. And these modules are designed for practitioners already fluent in natal synthesis, predictive techniques, and astrodynamic modeling. They assume an operational understanding of primary directions, midpoints, Uranian 90 degrees dial, 22.5 degrees short. Also, I just made a video about midpoints, check it out, with peace and love. Harmonic theory, declination parallels, and the use of specialized financial laws. Each module includes computational protocols, astrological reasoning frameworks, and integration pipelines for proprietary Genius Core software. So our first module is Cosmic Balance Sheet, the financial seed of the natal chart. Because we have a few things to go over, like the five-fold financial body, the second house core, ruler, almuten, and accidental dignity analysis via triplicity, term, and decan. Essential dignity weighted scoring, Dorothean triplicity, and Egyptian bounds for planetary significators of movable assets. The eighth house is debt leverage matrix, derivative house logic, eighth as second from seventh, other people's resources using turned house cusp lords and their anti-Sia connections. Fifth house speculation signatures, so harmonic 5 overlay, quintile series to reveal creative risk appetite. Midpoint tree of fifth cusp ruler to the sun, moon, and part of fortune. 11th house network yield, Aquarian Uranian income flows from social capital. Evaluate 11th ruler's condition and solar return in its synodic cycle with Jupiter. Part of fortune and lot of substance. Calculating diurnal nocturnal variance, usage of the spirit substance axis as evaluation metric for earned versus unearned wealth. Let's look at the financial planet dignity stack here. Composite dignity algorithm. Excuse me. So, essential dignity score. For ruler, we add 5. Exaltation, we add 4. Triplicity, we add 3. Term, we add 2. Face, we add 1. Minus debility, detriment, we subtract 5. Fall, subtract 4. Period grind, subtract 2. Accidental dignity modifiers. Angularity, we add 5 if within 5 degrees of an angle. Direct motion, we add 2. Cazimi, we add 5. Combust, we subtract 5. Under beams, we subtract 3. Mutual reception by exaltation or triplicity, we add 3. House joy, Jupiter 11th, Venus 5th, etc., we add 2. Weighted Venus, Jupiter, Mercury score for money magnetism index or MMI. Pluto, Saturn, Venus hard midpoint structures reveal toxic debt patterns. Alright, fixed star and lunar mansion attunement. Financial cusp conjunctions to Spica, Regulus, if not on the 12th, 8th. Capothaligal for debt, traps, and sheath for financial room thresholds. Second, 8th cusp in Arabian lunar mansions. Alright. Aldebaran, excuse me, profligacy risk. Al-Kalib is negotiation leverage. Al-Sad al-Ibia is hidden asset liquidation triggers. Alright, so module 2 is timing engines, so advanced predictive protocols for capital events. Primary direction financial triggers. Directing second cusp, part of fortune, and Jupiter to the terms of benefics, malefics, using Nebot arc. the mean motion 59 degrees 08. Financial breakouts when directed POF enters Jupiter-Venus term, with simultaneous progressed moon applying to a trine from the second lord. Direction of the lot of debt across the 8th house boundary, signaling credit restructuring. Solar arc wealth shock detection. So, solar arc directed planets to the natal second and 8th axes. Solar arc Pluto conjunct the natal Venus often marks a forced asset metamorphosis, bankruptcy to wealth shift, or vice versa. And solar arc ascendant hitting midpoint of Jupiter-Uranus, sudden windfall versus Jupiter-Saturn, conservative expansion, quantify aspect orb that is, lesser than 0 degrees 15 for the event day. All right. Zodiacal releasing from the Fortune and Spirits, LB, lot space, ZR from Fortune for income stream, Spirit for career capital. Peak periods identified when releasing into the 11th, 2nd from Fortune with benefic distributors, Jupiter, Venus, and angular houses, level 1 sign and level 2 balance overlays. Loosing of the bond technique. When DR Fortune peak coincides with Saturn transit squared natal Venus, liquidate before asset deflation. Planetary phase return calendars. Hang on a second, I'm live on Meet Me. Someone's in here. Chris, we appreciate you. I hope you're having a good day. Talking about planetary phase return calendars without trying to choke on my throat. And yeah, my poor vocal cords have been damaged these last few years. But anyways, Jupiter synodic cycle. So 13-month expansion windows optimized by heliocentric conjunction dates with the Earth. And geocentric Jupiter return chart. So for example, like angular Jupiter in the 2nd with the moon in waxing sextile triggers exponential growth. Alright? And then Venus evening star morning star transitions. The 584-day Venus synodic period. Maximum income visibility when Venus stations direct as a morning star in the natal 10th house or the natal 2nd house. Eclipse asset pivots. So prenatal eclipse series, Saros family, impacting natal financial rulers. Eclipse on the natal 8th cusp activates karmic credit line, and we should analyze a Saros cycle origin chart for thematic duration. So for example, a Saros 8 north eclipse on the 8th cusp brings sudden debt restructuring over the 18-month period. And lunar eclipse on the ascendant descendant axis with degree identical conjunction to a personal planet's volume of financial transactions spikes within 1 week. Alright, let's talk about asset-specific astrology, mapping vehicles, sectors, and instruments. So we have planetary asset assignments, and these are extended. So for example, the Sun through the Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, we can associate these planets with so many different things and so many different aspects of life. In fact, pretty much everything you can think of can correlate right back to astrology. So for the Sun, I would say gold, large cap leadership equities, and sovereign bonds. For the Moon, I'd say real estate, residential, silver, consumer staples, money market funds. For Mercury, I would say short-term trading, cryptocurrency, automobile sector, and small caps. For Venus, I would say luxury goods, art, copper, fashion, design, lead, REITs, and private equity beauty. Mars is defense stocks, steel, cybersecurity, competitive day trading, and derivatives. These are just a few examples. So and then, so Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Jupiter's index funds, foreign equities, legal settlements, venture capital, tin, aviation. Saturn is value stocks, agriculture, lead, mining, pension funds, insurance, annuities. Uranus is tech disruptors, electric vehicles, uranium, quantum computing, and crowdfunding. Neptune is pharmaceuticals, water utilities, film, music royalties, oil, dissolution, and deception-prone assets. While Pluto is debt instruments, junk bonds, rare earth metals, bankruptcy plays, and hidden asset turnaround. So hopefully you can understand now. Astrology goes deeper than the day you were born. And I've tried to make it clear in like so many of my other videos. It's not just random facts about you. It's actually greater than that. It's so much, it's so powerful. It's truly a powerful tool, and people just don't know how to use it. They're not ready. So now I'm going to talk about midpoint alchemy for sector selection. Specifically, the Venus-Uranus midpoint, which is crypto and tech boom windows. So transiting node on this midpoint activates feverish speculation. The Jupiter-Pluto midpoint, triggered by the progressed moon, correlates to mega wealth creation through consolidation monopoly plays. Use the 8th harmonic semi-square 45 degrees dial to detect the exact activation. Saturn-Neptune midpoint is the ideal entry for distressed property or value trap avoidance. Alright. Astrogeographic capital flows. So financial house is relocated via astro mapping, which I talked about a little bit, but I should honestly make a different video specifically for that. Alright, so Venus IC line for property investment, Jupiter MC for IPO public offering location, Mercury ascendant line for trading desk setup, cross verify with local space planetary lines intersecting second harmonic planetary nodes. So module 4 is our risk profiling and portfolio construction using a natal signature. What does it look like? Well, we have our Astro Risk Tolerance Quotient, or our ARTQ. It's derived from a few different things. The first being the quintile by quintile frequency, speculative genius pattern, as well as Saturn-Mars aspects, because hard aspects increase risk mitigation instinct, trines give disciplined aggression, as well as the 5th house versus the 8th house emphasis, because the 5th heavy seeks upside lotto plays, the 8th heavy leverages OPM, other people's money, dangerously. In the moon's speed, fast moon equals liquidity preference fluctuation, and its phase, waning moon natives thrive on short positions. Elemental allocation model. So this is where we get even more specific. So like fire signs specifically, if you have a lot of fire in your chart, your Aries sun, Leo rising, fucking Sagittarius moon, yeah. So growth equities, momentum strategies, high beta, all right? For the earth dominance, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, real assets, commodities, dividend aristocrats. Air dominant, derivatives, arbitrage, quant strategies, high frequency trading. And water dominant is distressed assets, long-term royalty streams, insider info sensitive plays, which holds an ethical risk, to be honest with you. So, on to the Astro-Sharp ratio ingestion. We overlay Jupiter, the returns, and Saturn, volatility drag, transit cycles to generate a dynamically weighted cosmic volatility surface. So when transiting Jupiter is in like a hard aspect to natal Saturn, you should reduce the risk allocation even if the fundamental signals are bullish. I need to grab some water really quick. Oh my gosh. Alrighty. Module 5 is derivative techniques for deep diagnostics. We're going to look at planetary nodes and wealth DNA. So Jupiter is Rahu in the natal chart, meaning what you must expand into financially. And Ketu is a previous life asset clinging. So, transit nodes squaring natal planetary nodes trigger fated financial resets. And heliocentric planetary nodes of Venus in the 9th harmonic reveal core values imprint. We have the financial lot clusters, the lot of treasure, the lot of siblings' wealth for inheritance modeling from the 3rd house derivative, lot of bankruptcy. And we can track them in secondary progressions when they change signs simultaneously, so a balance sheet restructuring signal. Uranian sensitive points for intraday timing, Cupido and Kronos midpoints for unexpected buyout bids, Poseidon and Admetos for market panic bottoms. Apply the 90 degrees dial with planetary pictures. For example, Venus and Jupiter subtracting Vulcanus equals sudden fortune in patents and tech. Declination and out of bounds money. So Venus or Jupiter out of bounds, meaning the declination is greater than 23 degrees 27, indicates unconventional income streams and extreme earning capacity. But cyclical famine feasts. Monitor parallel with fixed stars, so for example, Venus OOB parallel Sirius for massive speculative winds. Alright, Module 6 is Bespoke Forecast Workbench, or Algorithmic Harmonic Synthesis. So we look at the harmonic cash flow spectrum, and we see the 4th harmonic, hard aspects, equals financial stress and action points, while the 7th harmonic septile equals creative, inspired income channels, artistic commissions. The 8th harmonic equals debt and resource pooling. The 10th harmonic equals structural career earning power. And we can analyze the 2nd, 8th rulers' harmonic resonance with transiting planets in the same harmonic matrix. Financial composite charts. So when forming a partnership, composite 2nd house, Venus, Jupiter, lot of accord, composite the solar arc directions, identify the partnership's peak earning phase, composite Mercury retrograde periods typically coincide with contractual payment disputes. Prognosticator's framework. The 4-phase cycle integrator superimpose a progressed lunation cycle, 30-year, with Jupiter-Saturn conjunctions, 20-year, and Uranus return, 84-year. Major wealth phase shifts occur when these 3 cycles conjoin an angle within a 2-degree orb. The current era's great mutation in air signs reconfigures collective wealth redistribution. Align individual asset allocation to the natal house receiving the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. Alright. Now, each technique requires real-time ephemeris data from the in-house DE441 integration and a custom harmonic calculator supporting up to the 16th harmonic midpoint tree generation with lesser than 1 arc. Precision is mandatory for financial event dating. The code base will call module algorithms as microservices. Alright, so now we're going to jump to 12. So, as we can see, this is my Astro Financial Forensic Forecast. And this is what I would do specifically for a client that would like to know more about their financial side of being in a human body in this incarnation. I don't know how that was trying to be worded, but yeah, if you know, you know. So, we have the financial blueprint being decoded here, and we have the chart coordinates from tropical to sidereal conversion, alright? Which is very fucking important to me. So we have the layer, tropical western, as well as sidereal Lahiri, which is, negative 23.9 degrees. We subtract. So we're looking at the ascendant, which is 25 degrees Taurus, 49 western, but sidereal is at 2 degrees Taurus. Alright. Sun is at 8 degrees Pisces, 15 in the 11th. It switches over to 14 degrees Aquarius in the 11th. Moon is at 19 degrees Libra, 44 in the 6th, and it switches right over to 25 degrees Virgo in the 6th. Mercury is at 27 degrees Aquarius in the 10th, switches over to 3 degrees Aquarius in the 10th. Venus, 8 degrees Aries. That's actually wrong. That should be the other side. I have Venus in Pisces Western. So Venus is actually in Pisces Western, but it switches over to Venus and Aries sidereal. So that's actually supposed to be swapped around. Mars, this is correct, 21 degrees Capricorn in the 9th, switches over to 27 degrees Sag in the 9th. Jupiter at 17 degrees Libra in the 6th, switches over to 23 degrees Virgo in the 6th. And Saturn at 21 degrees Cancer, switches over to 27 degrees Gemini, both in the 3rd. Okay. Precise values require full software calculation with exact Lahiri Ayanamsha. Then we have our technical placement decryption. We immediately see Algol rising. Why? Because it's associated with Taurus, first of all, at like 25 through 28 degrees of Taurus. You're probably getting hit by it. And it falls within the 1 degrees orb. It's a simultaneously dangerous, it's the most dangerous and most lucrative signature in the chart. Because Algol's composite Jupiter-Saturn nature produces a distinctive financial oscillation. Extreme earning capacity coupled with sudden reversals, so unconsciously wielded, Algol functions not as a curse, but as a wealth star, one of the most potent prosperity signatures in fixed star lore. Provided the native integrates its shadow, Algol rising natives who fail to confront their own intensity often find wealth arriving dramatically and departing equally fast. Those who master the Algol current transmute it into magnetic charisma and financial staying power. You attract resources through sheer presence, but the structures holding those resources requires relentless integrity. Algol also activates protective fierceness, so when this individual truly owns something like a project, a client, or a vision, they become unstoppable. Taurus is also very stubborn. So the individual can track every instance of financial inflow and outflow over the next 60 days and note the emotional state preceding each. Algol dissolves resources tied to unacknowledged rage, fortifies resources anchored in conscious ownership. This is not journaling, it is real-time behavioral data collection. We see the individual has Pisces Sun in the 11th tropical and switches over to Aquarius Sun sidereal. So Pisces Sun, Western, occupies the 11th house of gains, networks, and collective vision. And its placement generates income through artistic, healing, or spiritual channels, and activates when the individual leads groups rather than serves them. Shadow is diffusion. Pisces Sun in the 11th drifts between so many social possibilities that it commits to none, producing the long unemployment most Pisceans can have. In the sidereal Vedic frame, the Sun shifts into Aquarius, which is a sign of innovation, technology, and systemic thinking, while remaining in the 11th house of gains. This reframes the financial genius, so the individual is designed to earn through future-facing, technologically mediated networks. A Pisces Sun native who tries to work in isolation or conventional employment fights their own chart. An Aquarian Sun 11th house native who positions themselves at the center of an online community, digital platform, or collaborative venture aligns with it. The employment drought ends when they stop applying for jobs and start building an audience. So we have specific career activation channels, content creation around spirituality meets technology, community management for wellness platforms, online course facilitation, crowdfunding, campaign management, astrological consulting via digital channels, any role where they broadcast a vision, which is the 11th house, through a creative, intuitive lens, Pisces Aquarius. Moon, Jupiter, conjunct in the 6th house, tropical, Virgo sidereal. So this is Viprit Raja Yoga, very important. A paradox where a planet in Dusthana, the 6th, 8th, or 12th house, generates eventual prosperity through adversity. So the moon, the mind, emotional body, and Jupiter, expansion, wisdom, occupy the house of debt, enemy, service, and daily grind. The mechanism is Moon in Libra tropical. This is the 10th lord of the career sitting in the 6th house of work service, creating a direct career activation circuit, but one that demands the individual works through the 6th house themes of service, health, conflict resolution, debt management, rather than around them. Jupiter in Libra aspects the 2nd house of wealth from the 6th, forming an Artha Trikona link, a classical signature for accumulating wealth through service-oriented work. In the sidereal frame, both Moon and Jupiter shift into Virgo, intensifying the analytical, healthcare, and service orientation. Virgo Moon in the 6th gives an almost diagnostic intelligence about systems, being financial, bodily, organizational, that others will miss. So this is the birth chart of someone who will earn through solving problems others are too overwhelmed to face. Prolonged unemployment is not a sign of incapacity. It is the necessary incubation period for this Raja Yoga to mature. They are being forged in the 6th house so that you can later lead from it. And the immediate practice would be for the next 21 days offer one specific financial, organizational, or health-related insight daily on a public platform. Moon Jupiter in the 6th generates wealth through visible service. Do not charge yet. Build a proof of your diagnostic intelligence. We have Venus, Pisces, which is actually tropical in my 11th house. But it's Venus and Aries in the 12th house, sidereal. Tropical placement is wrong, but Venus is in detriment and Aries in the house of loss and isolation. It suggests financial frustration and self-worth erosion. But a sidereal correction reveals the hidden fortune, where Venus shifts into, this is wrong, but Venus in Pisces is a sign of its exaltation in the 11th house, but in the 12th house, it's Venus in its highest dignity, promising eventual material luxury. Through the 12th house channel, foreign lands, solitude, spiritual practice, behind-the-scenes work, and expenditure. Venus Mahadasha for a Libra ascendant with exalted Venus is a classic wealth-generating period. Exalted Venus in the 12th also governs the 8th house of sudden gains and transformations for Libra risings, meaning Venus activates both hidden resources and karmic wealth. It can earn significantly, but the income streams will look unconventional, like foreign clients, online platforms, royalties, donations for spiritual or creative work. Definitely open a separate bank account designated solely for unexpected income. Even if depositing $5, the act of creating a vessel for Venus's 12th house abundance signals the readiness Venus in the 12th house responds to symbolic acts of receiving. Now we look at why the individuals have been struggling with finding employment. Saturn's transit through the 10th house, Aquarius to Pisces. For a Taurus rising, Saturn transiting the 10th whole sign house imposes career delays, restructuring, and authority pressure. Saturn entered Pisces, the 11th whole sign house, in March 2025 and remains there through 2026. And this places Saturn in the house of gains, demanding financial discipline and network building before income flows. The transit does not prevent wealth, it prevents premature wealth that would collapse under its own weight. The progressive moon cycle. At ages 19 through 20, the progressive moon moved through a waning phase, or 6th, 12th house territory, triggering a natural withdrawal period. The 12th house progressive moon dissolves external structures so that internal ones can be rebuilt. And Dasha transition. If your Vimshatari sequence place the individual in a Ketu, Saturn, or Mercury subperiod during the unemployment window, these dashas naturally strip away external supports to strengthen internal foundations. For Libra ascendant Ketu periods, especially enforce detachment before Venus periods deliver the reward. Unemployment has not been a failure. It is a structural requirement of the chart. The Raja Yoga in the 6th house activates only after the native has been humbled by the very difficulties, debt, service, health challenges that the 6th house represents. So they're now exiting that incubation window. We have wealth activation protocols, our Western tactical layer. We're going to start with Zodiacal releasing from the fortune. So a lot of fortune falls in the tropical 11th house. ZR from fortune reveals peak periods for material circumstances. When the ZR activates a Pisces-ruled period from their fortune, the developmental rhythm shifts toward dissolution of old financial patterns and the completion of cycles that have run their course. They're likely in or near such a period now. Pisces-ruled ZR phases are designed for endings that precede beginnings. You should track your current ZR level 1 and level 2 periods using a Hellenistic calculator. When a ZR distributor is Jupiter or Venus in a benefic house, the 2nd, 10th, or 11th, financial doors open. When the distributor is Saturn or Mars, you should build infrastructure. Loosing of the bond occurs when a ZR peak period coincides with the Saturn transit to a natal personal planet. Saturn currently transits Pisces, making its way toward a square with the natal Moon-Jupiter conjunction, which is Libra-Virgo, 17 through 19 degrees. This square exact in late 2026, early 2027 may initially constrict, but in the ZR framework it signals the release of a financial blockage. Prepare by clearing all unnecessary debt and obligations before this window. Alright, solar arc direction. Solar arc ascendant has moved approximately 2 degrees per year since birth, placing it around 27 through 29 degrees Taurus in 2026, still within orb of Algol. Alright? Meaning the Algol wealth signature is being directionally activated. So solar arc directed planets crossing the 2nd, 8th house cusps trigger income events. Calculate the solar arc positions precisely for the current year. Saturn transit through Pisces, transiting the tropical 11th whole sign, demands that you earn through discipline network building, not through job applications. It forces you to become valuable to a group before the group pays you. Simultaneously, Saturn aspects the 2nd house of savings, liquid assets, imposing a budget discipline that, if followed, creates lasting wealth architecture. And specific action is to create a public digital presence around one specific topic within the next 30 days. Saturn in the 11th rewards sustained public value-adding consistency, newsletter, YouTube channel, Twitter, X Thread series. Choose one and commit to 12 weeks of weekly output. Right, wealth activation protocols, Vedic remedial and Dasha layer. Vimshottari Dasha analysis, Vimshottari Dasha sequence for your birth moon nakshatra. Here's the approximate calculation. Not yours specifically, but this chart. Moon nakshatra, tropical moon is at 19 degrees 44 Libra and converts sidereally to approximately 25-26 degrees Virgo, placing the moon in Chitra nakshatra, which is 23 degrees 20 Virgo through 6 degrees 40 Libra, or Uttara Falguni, 26 degrees 40 Leo through 10 degrees exact Virgo, depending on the precise Ayanamsha correction. Both are ruled by Mars, Chitra, or Sun, Uttara Falguni. The precise Vimshottari calculator is required for the exact sequence, but the general principle holds. Venus Mahadasha will be a major wealth period for a Libra ascendant, and you are either approaching it or in its early phases. Venus Mahadasha for Libra ascendants brings comfort, income flow, and career visibility. Obtain a full Vimshottari Dasha calculation, Mahadasha, Antardasha, Pratyantar, using precise tidal coordinates. Identify the start date of the Venus Mahadasha. If we're currently in a Mercury or Ketu subperiod, the next major Dasha transition is your financial activation trigger. We have our planetary remedies, specifically for Libra ascendant. And then for Sun in the 11th house, offer water to the rising sun daily, as the sun rules the 5th house, intelligence, speculation, creativity for Libra risings. For Jupiter in the 6th house, wear yellow. Offer turmeric rice to the needy and chant Om Gureve Nama. Jupiter aspects the 2nd house from the 6th. Strengthening Jupiter directly amplifies savings and wealth accumulation. Serve teachers, mentors, and spiritual guides. Jupiter in the 6th house yields its wealth only after the native demonstrates humility through service. Oops. Alright, I think we'll end the video there. Thank you guys for watching this with peace and love. I hope you have a great day. Pisces out.